ahead and sharing the screen here. So I hope you guys can see the screen. Just give me a minute, guys. Okay, so let's put it in a man meeting, not in meeting now. I'll split it as right back. Okay, fine. Let's go with our class, guys. Okay, so we are good to go. Okay, let me know, guys, what we have done yesterday. What we have done in the last session, guys. Quickly remind me what we have done in the last session. So we are trying to. What we do, guys? Quickly, you have to tell me because couple of classes I take, I don't remember. I'm guessing we were spoken. Yeah, we spoke about the agile, and we were talking about the, I guess, plan stuff. I guess we're done with the design stuff. We're done with the code stuff, and we have to understand now test. Okay. Now coming to the test here, So when we are studying this, we are trying to understand the concerns and what we are trying to do even in the DevOps. Now, what happened is in the Agile, okay. So if you see so if I write like this, guys, so let me write in a horizontal way so that you'll catch the logic. Or let's use MS Paint, that is Puppet 1. Okay. So in the Agile, so we're done with the plan and we went with the design, then we went with the code. And after that, it is the test, right? But when it comes to the DevOps, you see, they also have the plan. So design is gone. I told you that design has been merged into the plan and they had code in place. That's common, no difference. But after the code, they came up with suddenly with a build process here. Build and then say test. You got it? And then said it's a test, right? Now the question comes is, why do you think the DevOps by the Patrick Debias has introduced the build process in between here? So there was no phase of build process here. That means definitely there is some concern. So that concern is, so from your knowledge, tell me guys, after the code is written, what needs to be done? From your basic knowledge, those who are having little knowledge about software industry or already somewhere working in some companies. So guys, tell me, after the code is written, what we do? Correct. So we do compile. That is the right answer. We do compile, right? We are not expecting the results immediately there. So once the code is written, we just do the compilation. Even when you're learning the languages also, they do it. But when it comes to the IT industry or let's say the SDLC process, they call this segment as build. We'll try to study the build stuff in deep when we see the Jenkins, because Jenkins handles a build process there. Now, at this point of time, if you want to understand what is a build, it's all about compilation, right? So checking your syntaxes of the code. If the syntaxes are written correctly, then only we should expect the logic to work. Do you agree, guys? So an example. So let's say a car should have, imagine a use case, a car should have 4 wheels. That's a syntax. So now question comes is, what is the syntax? Syntax is the way to write it. Okay. So this is the way to write it. Got it now? So likewise here, a car should run with the 4 wheels. If let's say if you're trying to run the car with the 3 wheels, is it going to work? Tell me guys, is it going to work? Definitely no, we know it. So the first premises is we need to have the 4 wheels in place. And when you start the car, we check whether it is running or not, whether it is moving forward or not. So that's an example there. So likewise, when you write the code should be written in a correct manner. So that's a syntax. So what, let's say if you're supposed to write printf and you write some statements here, hello world something. So just it's all about checking whether the syntaxes are written correctly or not. So if the syntaxes are written correctly, then only logic of the program is expected to run. So that's the logic. Now coming to the question, in the Agile, we also had a build process in place, guys. We had, so don't think that in the phases I'm not writing there. So we had build process in place already. Build is nothing but doing the compilation and other activities like test and creating the artifacts, and also going forward like we are trying to deploy. So entire end-to-end activity, we call that as a pipeline. I repeat, we call that as a pipeline. Exact same scenario is happening here. I was trying to chat. So you can see there is some application called Canary. Its build process is failing. If the build is positive, then only the application gets deployed, right? So that is what the current ticket I was trying to check. and there is one more ticket, the same. See, the build is failing, the application is not getting deployed. So this is another use case. So the same use case here, what I am trying to tell you. So if the build works, then only things will happen. Now the question comes is, in the agile, the build process has been not given a weightage. That's the first thing. They did not give weightage, right? And the point to be noted is the build process was entirely done in manual. That's a second point to be noted. No weightage has been given and the things are happening manual. If the things are happening manual, do you expect the things to happen fast or slow, guys? This is a very interesting question. If the things are happening manually, do you expect the process of the things to happen fast or slow? So definitely the things will be running slow. Things are slow because it is manual in nature, correct? And another area of the concern is, if it is manual, that means definitely some human being person is involved there. Some tech is involved, you can say some tech is involved, and he is taking care of the build process, right? Now the result of the build process, imagine some build process or some test process overall. If it is, let's say, if it is something around 90%, it says 100% is not right. If it is 90%, then if the person, the tech who is auditing this, if he compromises and gives approval for deployment, what is going to happen? Tell me, guys. Did you understand the logic? This is the exact use case. Something looks like in corruption. Do you agree, guys? Corruption. I'll not take the name, blame any government, right? But generally, this is what we see in the society, correct? So it looks like a corruption kind of thing. So the technician who is handling the build process entirely in manual, and or test activity, whatever it happened, it says 90% is only success, 10% is a flaw. But still, if the tech goes and compromises on the things and pushes for deployment, now you tell me the result, what will happen? What will happen? You can guess the answers, guys. Are you expecting the deployments to work properly? Are you expecting that everything will work fine? Definitely, you'll get some issues being pointed out. Some issues will be pointed out. Pakka. Something will be pointed out saying that this is not working. This is not working. May not be 100%, but some part of the application they say that, okay, this part is not doing great. So that happened because of compromise there. Some technician at some place has compromised. This is one kind of a malpractice we saw in agile oriented projects, guys, and that has been proven in lot of projects. And again, I repeat, don't think that it is happening in every company, but data says that build process of the agile has been not perfected, or you can say it has been not great, because human beings are involved, manual process in place, and things are compromised, and the system itself is slow. Now, what happened? Patrick, right, identified all these things during the same point of time around 2006. This is what I was telling you. Some automation tools were evolving in the build segment. In the build segment itself, some automation tools have evolved to overcome this kind of problems. So what happened is Patrick was advising, can't we go ahead and implement automation tools in the build process? So that is where we are using Jenkins and Travis CI, Azure DevOps. These are all the tools, guys. So that was the age period when the tools were evolving slowly. So Patrick experimented use case of the tools in the build process. Use case of the tools in the build process, and the results are, he was able to override the manual work. It switched to the automation, right? Now the things are happening fast. Getting what I'm talking, guys? The things are happening fast, and there is no human intervention at all in decision making. No human intervention. No human intervention. Best example, live is this. So you can say this pipeline is failing. Build tool is telling that it is failing clearly. Okay, this is not good, right? If we were human being and if we are not trying to use the build tool, directly we copy the code and put it on deployment. Na? If I'm compromising, see, I'll go for compromise like encryption. I'll compromise and I can pick up the code of that application and directly push it for deployment. I can do that, but it is not allowing me because build process in place, it is highly automated. So that automation tool is telling that at some place in the SonarQube it is failing. See, I got Retak set SonarQube. It is telling that, okay, SonarQube you need to fix. Publish code coverage means we are talking about little SonarQube stuff here. Correct? So that is what. So entire build process has been automated. No human intervention. Only during the setup process intervention is required. And thereafter we set up the criteria. We set up the criteria how to do the build process and how to pass them, and entirely automated, right? And this helped technically, frankly to say, to bring down the time taken for the build process, right? Time taken for the build process, and overall helped to reduce the time taken for the project completion also, guys. Project completion also. You will not believe there is a bad criticism on the agile saying that most of the agile projects are successful. That's okay. The successful, that means they have completed. But the remark is 80% of the projects have been not completed in time. That's a concern. You getting the point, Balaji, Ashwini, Gopal, Kavya? So agile, there is a great achievement that projects are completed. That's okay. But the question comes is, have we completed in the time? Whatever agreement we made with the client saying that we'll finish off in 6 months, or we'll finish off in 8 months, or we'll finish off in 10 months. But things are not happening because when you sit with a client and give some estimate, that estimate considers your build process also, right? We'll consider the build rough estimate of the build process and give the estimates and detect the project closure times. But the things on the other side looks different. Builds on the other side are going different way. That's the reason there is a remark on Agile that 80% of projects not completed in time. So after implementing the automation, that means entirely giving a super weightage for the build process and making entirely automated, the things are better. That's the reason Patrick has come up with a solution saying that entire build process should be given a super weightage now as a phase, and we need to implement automation here. And interestingly, the build phase is a new plan, it's a new phase introduced by the DevOps as a phase. DevOps has given some weightage for the build and it's a new phase. And again, this is completely automated. And most of your jobs that you see in the market, somewhat relevant to the build process only. Am I clear on this point? Kirti, Amit, Anusha, you have to follow me and say yes or a no so that we can move on discussing the points. Okay. So this point is clear. So why they brought up build? Because there is a story behind it, or you can say there is some concern. If you understand that concern, then things become easy for understanding. Even without automation in the build process, you can get your work done. I'm not saying it will not happen. You can get the work done. But there are some challenges like manual process, slow process, human intervention, malpractices. These are all things are there. Correct? So that helped the industry to overcome all this kind of headaches. Now, next, what is the next phase, guys, in the agile? Tell me. What is the next phase in the agile? See, we saw plan. We are trying to understand all comparative code, design code. We understood. Next phase is test. Right? Next phase is test only. Correct? So in the agile, there is a test phase. Even in the DevOps also, there is a test phase. When you write the DevOps phases, we'll write plan. So we write code. We understood why they brought up build. And after the build, it is a test. No difference, big deal. But when you sit down and understand the dynamics of IT, these are the differences. In Agile, what happened is the test phase, right? They started their journey with more of manual work and slowly they shifted to the automation. And Agile was the model which started telling that when the bugs come into the or when the bugs have been identified, so if the bugs are minor, it is a responsibility of the test team to go ahead and fix it. This is a model which advised. Otherwise, earlier, the role of a test engineer was only to identify the bugs. He will not fix it. Clear? Only simply to identify. He will never work on fixing the stuff. So that was a criteria. But Agile was the first model which said a bugs which are minor in nature and which are under the capability of the, let's say, test engineer should be allowed to go ahead and fix it. Clear? To fix it. In the same case, if the bug is a major one, then it is a developer responsibility or the team who has written that code to fix it. So this is what the Agile is telling. Now, one more concern here is, or understanding is, so in the earliest stages of the Agile evolution, what happened is most of your testing activities were manual in nature, and then they moved on to the automation. Now, how many of you are from the testing background? Please raise your hands. Okay. Okay, I got good number. I see Ashwini, Gnan, and Anjuna. Right, nice. Now you tell me, guys, what was the scope of the testing field in 2005? Were they focusing on identifying the bugs? Or are they focusing on performance? This is a new thing, guys. So what happens is, along with bug identification, they were also focusing on performance of the product, bugs identification. So that also became a part, right? So day on day, from manual nature, from just identifying the bugs, correct, to fixing, they're also focusing on performance now. So this is a changes that are happening over the period of time. Now, when it comes to the DevOps here, right? So it started with a birth in automation, and it is moving towards. Tell me, guys, Ashwini and Anjana, where it is moving? Testing field, where it is going, guys? AI. Yes, we are moving into the world of AI testing. That is a fact. AI tester. AI tester is lot of demand in the market, and we have lot of institutes in India and in Amirpet Circle where they teach you a Selenium, right? And some other tools relevant to the testing field, but you don't have enough institutes, or you can say the enough knowledge in India at this point of time, which is bothering about AI testing. So slowly it started now, and we'll see maybe 4 to 5 years down the line, we'll hear a lot about AI testing. Clear? So DevOps is evolved in automation. They promote 100% automation. That is the reason in the DevOps era, the relevance of manual testing is gone. There is no demand for manual testers in DevOps era. Any company which believes strongly in DevOps, right, and their projects, if they work in DevOps, there are no hirings for manual tester. That's it. Simple logic. No hirings for manual tester. They don't believe in manual stuff at all. Okay, entirely they want to automate. So that is the scope of the DevOps now. Clear? So let's move on to the next phase, guys. Please write this point so that I'll clear off and move to the next level. What is the next phase in the Agile? What is the next phase, guys? Okay, nice. It is release. Correct. Can I clear the screen? Can I clear the screen? Have you written the points in your notes, running notes? Okay, nice. So I got confirmation from Amar. So I'm going ahead and clearing the screen. So please maintain your running points, guys. Anyway, PDF will be shared, but always running points are always helpful. Okay. Fine. The next phase is release. After test, it is a release. Now, this phase was introduced by Agile. So previous to the Agile models like Waterfall or some other etc. models are there in market. So those models did not have release phase at all. So Agile was the first model which introduced the release phase, and the same is also continued in the DevOps. Same is also there in the DevOps. Now the question comes is, why do you think the release is required? This is what you need to know. First of all, what is this release? Any clue? We'll hear a lot about release. But what is this release? Okay, I'll give an example so that you should catch the logic. Okay. So let's say there's a car, there's a company, and they are manufacturing the car, right? So what happens is they'll get all the components from their vendors, right? They assemble the car, correct? Compare, guys. You have to compare the same stuff with your IT. They assemble the products, they assemble entire car. Once they assemble the entire car, don't you think the company, within the company, they do some kind of check? We call it that as a test, whether the car is working or not. Do you agree? Yeah, they'll test it, right? So once the test is done, though this is one of the dangerous question you'll face in the interview, guys. Very, very dangerous question is, when the test is passed, why again we require the release? So in the test, we check everything, correct? But again, why we require release? The same logic applies in car also. See, once the guy in the company verifies that whether car is working or not, but still the company will go ahead and take that car into the trials, into the field, and they'll run it for at least 18 kilometers. I hope whether you know it or not, it's a government rule that an automobile car which is manufactured should be run at least 18 kilometers. They will run it, they will take it on the road wantedly. That 18 kilometers, what is the benefit for them, guys? Tell me this logic, tell me. Though it is tested by the mechanic, they're saying that okay, everything is fine, but still company takes those cars. That's the reason you'll have the car companies are big factories. They'll have a big ground, or you can say a circular kind of a field for them. They will run the car for 18 kilometers, or they'll take out for trials. Now, what is the intention behind taking the trials, guys? Correct. So I got an answer from Anjana. So that's what the tester can tell. Anjana is a tester. So let's see. So this is a real observation. Do you agree? The real observation of the car, whether it is running, so any sounds are coming, any parts are loose, correct? So this is a kind of an inspection only. Inspection by the company, correct? Fifth, so in the field, whatever they things they identified, anything funny things that they identified, anything errors or bugs they identified, definitely when the car returns to the, let's say, to the company, they will fix it. Am I correct? You getting the point, guys? They'll fix it. After fixing it, is it final? No. Again, this will go for again trial run, again trial run. In the trial run, if it is positive, right, then that car is considered as fit to go to the market. Again, there is one more condition here. So, according to the government norms, before the car goes into the market, there is something called inspection by government official, right? Factory inspector, we call it as. I hope you know this little basics of life. Factory inspectors will come and inspect. Again, the funny thing is, the factory inspector will not have time to inspect every car. What he does, according to the norms, every car that goes into the market, it has to be inspected by factory inspector. But instead of that, what they do, guys, they'll come on one fine, nice day in a month. Okay, they'll pick up one car and they'll go for trial run. That is what factory inspectors are doing currently, because it is highly impossible. We know it that they cannot inspect every car and they can run. So randomly they'll pick up one and they'll go for inspection. So that is how the quality is maintained. Now apply the same logic here. I hope you understood the intention behind this example. So once I produce my code, I am doing the build, then I am doing the test. After test is passed with the product, they check whether it is working as per expectation or not. So that piece of code which is perfectly working, we call that as an artifact. Keep in mind, a perfectly piece of code which is working is called as an artifact, and always the artifact will be in the form of installable format. If I give you that piece of code, see guys, this is a very common sense question. So somebody writes a code, and if he directly gives the code to you, application will not run. Am I correct? If I write some code and give directly that code to you, application will not run, because you have to convert that code into an installable format. It should sit on the operating system, correct? That installable format, we call it as packaging. So that perfectly working code which is in installable format, packaged, we call that as an artifact. Okay, so that artifact is now put on a dev server, right? If once they put it on the dev server, the dev team will check. That means development server, we call it as, or development team will log in, leads will log in and check if everything is fine as per their expectation. If they feel okay, then I will pass on this code to something called test server. Now here the test team leads. Usually the test team leads will go ahead and log in testing team. They will do whatever the testings they want. They will try to verify everything. Keep in mind, this testing and this testing is altogether different. So this is at the code level, this is at the application level. Okay. So after testing is done, they'll go on to the QA. QA team will work on it. QA team will go and QA server. It is deployed on QA server. Now QA team will go ahead and check if everything is fine. If they are satisfied, then it will go on to the perf servers, performance servers. They'll check whether the product is working as per expectation. Let's say if you click on so and so, imagine a use case, guys. If I click on some link there, or if you click on something, how much time are you expecting to open up? Will you be happy if it opens in 2 seconds? Will you be happy if it is opens in 3 seconds? Will you be happy if it takes 4, 6, or 8? Tell me, what is your rating? At what time you will be happy, guys? This is also you need to know when you're going as a DevOps engineer. I'm talking about seconds. Milliseconds is not possible. Milliseconds not possible at all. Forget. Okay, we are bothering only seconds. Okay. So according to the standards of IT, these are all IT standards. If application, whatever you click, any click in the application, if you click and if the response is between 1 to 2 seconds, you're excellent. Excellent. The rating is classified as an excellent. That means the company got good infrastructure, good technology, and application is awesome. That application is good. If it is 2 to 3 seconds, it's good. If it is 3 to 4, it is fair. We call it as it's fine. Anything more than 4, customers or clients will not like. Will not like your product, guys. They'll move on. Will you be happy if you click and it takes 6 seconds or 5 seconds? So the average time is around 2 only, guys. If the application is responding within 1 or 2 seconds, definitely as a client or as a customer or let's say any end user, we'll be super happy to use that application. If it is taking 5 seconds, 4 seconds, we'll not feel happy. So that is called performance testing. In performance testing, what happens is they will try to identify the parts of the application or items of the application where the response is slow, and they will try to figure it out why that response is slow and what can be done to make it better. So let's say DB is responding slow. They'll see why that DB script is executing slow and can it be rewritten so that the speed is improved. So that is what happens in performance testing. Performance is very important. Then next, if the performance is fine, then they will put the product in something called, they'll push the product in something called stage. This is also called UAT. Did you heard staging? Yeah, this is also called as stage or UAT, right? So once they put the product in the UAT, they will observe for some time. If everything is happy, if you're not receiving any complaints from the customer from UAT, then they will push it on to the production. This is how things work. UAT full form is user acceptance test. Now this is super important step, guys. UAT. The reason is here your clients will log in, your company management will log in, and third party auditors will also log in. Third party verification, third party auditors we call it as. So they also will log in and see how some companies, what they do is they don't take it for granted what our guys are telling. Okay, UAT is working, right? Example, just an example. So let's say yesterday we done some deployment in UAT. Imagine, and everything is fine. As a company owner, I will not take for granted what our guys have told. What I will do, I'll hire some external consultant and I'll wantonly give them access into our UAT environment, and I'll ask them to check how the application is working. That means I'm asking their review. So if the review is positive, then fine. You got it? So because UAT is a step where we are trying to understand the application perspective from everybody's purview, right from clients, right from your management, right from your technical team, right from your third party auditors, right? If everything is, all the data says that, okay, somewhat positive, then we say that UAT is done or user acceptance test is done. Then only will they say it is good or done. Then on one final day, they'll do some coconut festival that is common in India, but in Western countries, they don't do any coconut stuff. So on one final day, they'll push that product into the prod. This is how the lineup is. You understood now, guys, what is that release? Now, this kind of, if I tell you one logic, why do you think we have to maintain this much of struggle? There is an intention behind it. In waterfall, this kind of sequence was not there. In any other model, this kind of sequence was not there. Why only Agile has brought up this sequence? What is the intention behind it? You have to tell me. Because at every stage, can I say it's, first of all, it's looking like interview process. Simulate your interview process, guys. Does it sync to your interview process? Some companies will conduct 6 to 7 rounds. Some companies will take only 2 rounds. Some companies will take 3 rounds. That looks funny, but what is the intention behind it? They want the best candidate, correct? The more rounds, the best they want. Exactly same thing. When the code is moving on from one environment to the different, we call this as different environments in first place. So when it is moving from here to here, from here to here, from here to here, at every stage, whatever the things that have been identified as an errors or the bugs, we are trying to fix it. So at end of the day, I want to have a code in the production which is bug free. That's an ultimate objective. Do you agree with this statement, guys? Divya, Nayak, Santosh, Kumar, Ishwar Rao. See, that's an intention. That's it. Now, don't you think this kind of things are required in the age of competition? Because when the agile came into the market in 2000 era, we are in the age of competition only, right? So whoever's product is good, bug free, their product will click in the market. That's it. You got it? So this looks like a batting lineup only. When the batting lineup is so depth, that means we are getting very good product. So I'll show you my release cycle. That's the intention behind having that. This entire process we call it as release only. So if you observe the release cycle here, my project, my batting lineup, it seems to be very heavy. So I'll show you for one application. Sorry, not to create release. I'll go to the edit. So this is Azure DevOps, guys. So if you see it here, the code goes to the development, from their integration, from there to the QA, from there to the performance, from there to the demo, right? Again, from the demo, it goes to the release. This is how we operate. From the release QA, it goes to the UAT. From there, it goes to the hotfix. From there, hotfix UAT, then prod to this is. That means to reach up to the production, how many layers or filters? You count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 layers are there. So that means the code, whatever we write in my project, it has to clear 9 layers to reach to the production. So what does it indicate, guys? If I'm arranging more layers, what does it indicate? More the depth of the layers, best quality of the product, right? So that's the point. Perfection, yeah, right. Mr. Perfect, like. So there is Arya movie which says Mr. Perfection, right? So we want perfection in the product, or technically if you talk in IT style, we call it as I want best quality of the software, bug free. Entirely it is bug free, accurate product. Now keep in mind one more interesting point. This is called actually the release cycle. The release cycles or the layers will be, if the number is high, that means that application is critical. Generally the layers will be very high if it is a healthcare product, if it is a financial product, and anything relevant to the damage of life also. Tell me damage of life products, guys. Railway applications. Do you agree? Just a simple example. So wherever there is a huge damage for the life, I'm talking about human being, like railway, airlines. A simple mess up in the application, don't you think these things will work in wrong direction and something can happen? It can create a loss, damage of life. So wherever it is critical, the layers will be super high. For example, game, just an example of game. Any loss for damage? You tell me, guys, in gaming applications, is there any damage? If the gaming application is not working perfect, are we worried? Are we worried? No. So that's the reason in gaming application, you'll not have depth layers. Layers or release cycles will be somewhat low. all financial stuff that includes your banks and everything. Finance means banks and everything, etc. Got it now? I hope you understood this, why there is a release. So the thought process of the agile that saying that release is required in the agile makes sense, because by the agile came into the market, we're in the age of competition. So to beat that competition, products have to be more perfect. That's the reason we have release. Now, one interesting point is, a very, very interesting point is, release that has been introduced in the agile, what happened is it definitely slowed down the time to complete. Do you agree? This is what happened in the initial days of agile. A lot of guys have started complaining because suddenly you put up a lot of layers, right? Earlier we are happy to just check the product, everything, and we push it to the market. But release cycle in between, what happened now? So in every stage, we need to check the product and make sure that it is working and then pushed on to. So somewhat release chain has slowed down the production. That is what happened. So to overcome this problem, what happened? Companies started implementing little automations here and there to overcome this problem. In DevOps, it is entirely automated. 100% automation, almost like best of the automation we are doing. Now here one knowledge to grasp. Okay. So release cycles are of two types, or we can say, please write this in your notes. This is not there in your syllabus, but out of your interest for your benefit, I'm talking. So release environments are of two types. So first one is called lower environment, and the second one is called higher environment. Okay. So what is a lower environment here? So lower environment, basically the best criteria is that the code will be completely in developmental stage, and here the access is not given to the client. We don't give the access to the client at all. Client will not be involved in lower environment, guys. So what comes under lower environment? Your development servers, your test servers, and QA servers and performance servers will come under lower environment. This is a classification. Okay. Now, higher environment, right? So in the higher environment, what happens is the code will be in completely in release capacity. That means it is ready to go, bug fixed. Almost like we can say 99% there are no bugs. Almost like you can take it for granted 99-100%. It is bug free. Now this is the area where you will have the access to the clients, and the environments will be UAT, your prod, and DR. What is DR? Did you heard a word called DR, guys? In some companies, this is also called as prod 1 and prod 2. In some organizations, they call this as prod 1 and prod 2. So what is the mean of DR here? Full form for DR is disaster recovery. So what happens is, whatever the application that you're putting on the production, the same application version, we put it on DR server also. This is nothing but we call it as backup prod. Backup server for the prod. Because these are all electronic components, guys. They can die on at any point of time. Do you agree? These are all machines only. The machines, I'll tell you one incident which happened this year in the month of March, actually. One incident in my organization happened. So in one of the data centers, okay, in US, there was some electrical short circuit in one of our data centers only. Okay. So minor one, but the security guard who was at the night there, he saw that electrical circuit. What he has done is, unknowingly, he broke the production server doors. There was no, I mean to say, production servers will be kept in a big room, right? So that door was broken by that security guard. Technically, there was no damage to that room. First of all, the electrical circuit would happened in the building, but in the same premises. But the point is, technically, it is not going to impact the production room. But this security guy unknowingly went into the production server and he disconnected all the cables and brought that server out of the building, kept out of what you can say in a safe place. Suddenly entire application went down for 10 to 15 minutes and DR became up. DR was in different state in US, sitting at different place. All the connection got routed automatically to the DR server. So I hope you understood this, what I'm trying to tell you guys. So what happens is the application that you kept on the production server, suddenly if it goes down, we need to have some backup. No company dares to put the two servers at same place. Geographically, they'll put it at different places to overcome these kind of headaches. Got it now? So production 1 server will be at different place. Production 2 server will be at different place. If one is down, clients can access the application from 2. Clear? So that is called DR. Okay. Now in the higher environments, they will generate the revenue. In lower environments, no revenue. The company does not income anything from lower environment. They don't get any business there because we don't give the access to the clients. But when it comes to the higher environment, it is revenue and people will be very careful handling the higher environment. Got it now? Now I want to take a use case. So let's say after doing the best of the things, okay, after doing the best of the things, after validating everything is happy, we finally put on the prod. We thought that everything was 100% fine. Okay. After 3 or 4 days, somebody, some human being somewhere on the world, he will drop a mail to you saying that this is not working. What you will do? That is not working only for him. You understood the question, guys? Nishant? So we done our best and we kept the application on the software on the production server and we felt everything was 100%. After 3 or 4 days, somebody reported, dropped a mail to a company saying that I am not able to access this application or some trouble. If the problem is only with him, will you ignore? See the logic, see, these are all things of life. Only with that person. Will you ignore? That is what the logic is. The answer is normally the company will ignore. You know the reason why? But they will take into whatever the issue that that guy has reported. They will definitely have a look into it, but they will not apply the fix immediately. They will not apply the fix immediately. But the same logic, if I ask different question, after 3 to 4 days, you got a drop or you got an email from almost like 10% of your customers. Now that is where company will react immediately. The team will react immediately. The reaction will come immediately, guys, because that proportion is 10%. You're right. So the proportion is 10%. Definitely the team will react. And if it is the code problem, immediately in the immediate sprint, immediate on priority, they will apply the fix and they will immediately do a new release. Am I clear on this point? So normally if it is 1 or 2 users, generally they'll ignore. But if it is proportion is high, 10%, they will not take it light. So the business rule of Agile or the mathematics of project management is telling you that when the proportion is greater than 3 to 4% of your customer base is reporting some problem, we have to look in. As a company, will look into it for sure. As long it is 1%, 2% proportion, it's okay. You got it now? I told the answer from project management side also, guys. According to the project management, we cannot satisfy all 100% in the world, right? You'll have chances and here and there 1% or 2%, 0.3, 0.4, or 1.5, 2%. Things will not work. That's okay. Still, the company or business will run or your project will run. But when this proportion is hitting 3 or touching 4, the company has to look into the facts or look into the matter. If they don't look in, it will create a repetition problem, or you can say their business impact. It will impact the business for sure. Okay. So that's all for the day, guys. I'll stop it here. So we understood up to the release and what are the concerns, right? Now, any questions from your side from today's class? Quick. First, from the chat, any questions or doubts from today's class? Okay, normal generic question. Have you understood my class, first of all? Okay, nice. If you understood, that's okay. Then now the question comes is doubts. Anything left out in your brain? All clear? Matter is there or gone, first of all? Yeah, Sanjay, for your question, the answer is yes. So Sanjay is asking me a question: if the production is down, then auto up DR. The answer is yes. We do that. If the production is down, then automatical signal will generate to make up the DR up. Normally, DR will be in the sleep mode. The machine will be always up, but it will be in the sleep mode. The moment that senses that production server down, that will become live. The turnover time is 3 to 4 minutes as per IT standards. Turnover time. So if the prod is down, immediately the DR should come within 3 to 4 minutes of time. It should be up. 1 to 3 minutes is a fact actually. And within 1 to 3 minutes, the DR machine should be up. Okay. Then data sync will happen. It writes to the common database because DR will read from database, prod also reads from database. Got it now, Sanjay? So prod or DR either both read from common database only. So don't expect that prod will have a different database and DR will have different database. They will read from common database. Okay. So I'm getting this question. I heard that only few openings on DevOps for fresher. Is that right? So please don't take it the wrong assumptions. So whether you have openings for experienced people or whether you have the openings for mid experience or for fresher, it's all the demand coming from market. So demand from market only, guys. Let's say I'll give an example. As an IT company, I got a new project. What I should do? And the client is asking me to do the project in the DevOps model only. You tell me, you give the answer. Should I hire the freshers or experienced? Simple answer. Like they want experienced people only. Okay. The answer seems to be experience here. Okay. The same IT company, they hosted their project, became live, right? They became live and they almost stable. Stable means everything is happy, everything is live. Now, if they are going for hiring, do you think will they hire experienced or fresher? Fresher they will hire. This is a science behind the hirings. You got it now? Did you got your answer, Shriya? So it's all coming from demand from the market only. When the market is so good, we're getting so many projects. So normally in the initial phases, they'll hire experienced people only. But when the project becomes live somewhat stable, we'll have a lot of openings for freshers. So the opportunity is there for both freshers and also the experienced people. Okay. Man, database down. Okay, that's a very good question. Subbu is asking me, what if the database is down? So super logical question. Again, in the database also you'll have the same story. You'll have the DB1 server, you'll have DB2 server, you have DB replica servers. They also have the backup guys. So it is wrong to assume that it is wrong to assume that you will have only one database. Got your answer, Subbu? Yeah. So at DB level also they'll have replicas. So backup, what is the fun in having monthly backup? So DevOps believes in live backup. If company has good money with them, good talent with them, they'll go for live backup, because live backups will take some lot of budget. Weekly backup, that means you're trying to compromise for a week. Do you agree, Ranga? If you are ready for going for weekly backup, that means you are decided that we are compromising for weekly. So these things are changing. Once upon a time, we used to depend on monthly backup. Then we are going ahead with weekly backup, right? Now these days we are going with daily backups. You heard daily backup concept now? This is a new terminology we are in. New daily backups, per hour backup. Now the story seems to be revolving around live backup. They want live backup. Everything should be live. So this will cover Subbu, the DevOps, majorly focusing on the DevOps and exclusive chapter of EC2 from AWS. Yeah, for your question, Sindhya Rao, the answer is positive. So they'll come up with a new release to fix some other problem. So RPA is an automation. RPA, that is different automation, man. Already existing process they want to automate, that is different. This is DevOps is a software protection. The tasks that you do regularly can be automated regularly. A task, whether it is from administration, finance, or anything, the task can be anything. So that is more relevant with RPA carrier. But if you talk about DevOps, it is purely software protection they are into production. Got it now? Good guys. So that's all for the day. And we'll stop it here. We are getting late. Always we should end by 10 o'clock. And I want to go with some questions on voice. So Ashwini, talk to me. I see your hand is raised. Any question for me, Ashwini? Unmute and talk. Gopal T.
Hi Vikram.
Yeah, hi.
Just a question. So basically, how DevOps person will know, like while doing, build anything, how he will know what is there in the code and what is the expected input and output and how to validate? Who actually we know that?
So that you will never know until you work with the team.
Okay.
Even I will never know. because let's say pipeline is failing right here. Got it
Okay.
now? So if I created the pipeline, I would know in and out of this. And this is a pipeline which was created by Infosys team. So Infosys team is also part of our project. So they created this pipeline. And the person who created this pipeline has left. And this ticket came into my head now. So what I have to do? I have to start understanding each stuff here, read, understand. If I get any doubts here, okay, how this is linked, code related stuff, I'll definitely approach my development team and ask what is that reference. And based on that clue, I'll try to troubleshoot. Right? So
Okay.
anything comes, you have to, it starts with investigation only. So no solution in the DevOps, don't expect that we can give in a minute. If an issue comes in the DevOps, normally at least it will take 1 hour. It can go up to 4 hours. Sometimes it can go up to 2 or 3 days also.
Okay.
So, but end of the day, the point is, matter is you need to understand how that is configured, how that is working, where it is going wrong, and how to fix it. How to fix it, we have to depend on our own knowledge and also collate some data with the team. Okay, how that is working, where it went wrong, and also Googling also helps you.
Okay.
Right, I'll
Yes,
show you
sir.
the live example here. You just see guys, for everybody, the live example is, it is failing at this place telling that so and so file is not there on this server. Access to the path so and so is denied. Right, I went onto the server and I checked with the file. See, the file is there. This is a file which is telling access to the denied. The file is there. Denied means definitely some permissions problem. So I checked on the folder if it is any headache with the permissions. Right, it says read only. Okay, that's fine, nothing wrong. Then if I go into that folder and this is a target file which is failing. So read property, everything is good. The file is there, but still access is denied. So why it is coming access as denied? Then I need to understand this stuff. Why? That is what I need to investigate.
Okay. It doesn't relate to any technology, right? I mean,
No,
like
no,
Java,
normally
.NET.
no. So it's
Not
all
like that.
about the basic understanding going with the things.
Okay.
If you are very good little about computer, little technical enough, we can
Okay.
drive it.
Sure, Vikram. Thank you. Got it.
Thank you. So that's all for the day, guys. We'll catch up tomorrow as usual. So any doubts that if I did not answer, not to be worried. Again, we have tomorrow class at the same time. So please let me know your questions tomorrow as well. All right. Chalo. See you guys and catch you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.